I've been having connectivity issues. Look, we're coming up. Live stream says we're coming back. Look, I've got, let's see, it's bubbling. It's bubbling. I guess that means there's signals trying to go out. There we go to, let's see, trying to go out to Facebook, trying to go out to Periscope, we're working on it. I'm doing the best that I can this summer. I got my 5 bars. I got everything. I've deleted and re-deleted, and I want to play some music for you guys today. Hey! Yay! Okay. It says here on my phone, we're live. That's good. All right, so let's go back here. Make sure we're set. Awesome. How about some music today? You ready? It's called Beyond Every Fear. Beyond every fear, there's an open door of hope to walk through. Of course, it would help if I didn't turn my phone on. Here we go. Open for those who dare to trust that it's true. Beyond every fear, there's a world I long to explore, discovering more and more of you. And every time I find you won't let me go, and still I want to run from what I do not know. And so you call me, coax me beyond every fear. Beyond every loss, there's a chance I just might come to find something that cannot be taken away. Beyond every stain, every step of shame I try to conceal, there's something more real, and it's your love. And every time I find you won't let me go, but still I want to run from what I do not know. And so you call me, coax me. Ready for this? Is my favorite part in the whole tune. Beyond every fear. This is even better. So I'll take the chance and follow through the shadow lands and find you beyond every fear. La, 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 yes, I'll take the chance and follow to the promised land and find you beyond every fear. La, 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 I'll find you beyond every fear. I hope that came through, you guys. It's been a reinvention and a rediscovery of things that I run from this summer. Music, for example, and this ugly, horrendous painting that I'm going to talk to you about. Sometimes you got to go back. You got to dig deeper. There are things in you that God is wanting to pull out and to reshape from the absolute most healing things, which are what? The risks. Risk, generally speaking, is the place we have to go to find our healing. And risk, because risk requires faith, risk dares to believe that this time around the mountain patterns I always repeated, it's going to amount to another layer of healing, another layer of freedom, right? So it's interesting. When I'm feeling, when I'm really struggling, then a lot of times I will pull back from the very intimate risks that where the healing is. So, for example, this summer, I've been running from that guitar, running from what was on the other end and what was going to come out of this voice. And just this week, I kind of went, you know what? I got to play again, and I got to start pulling out the music that I'm not even sure I remember how to play. I write a lot of music, and it's very complicated. And the scary thing, do you ever forget what you've written? Do you ever not remember your own stuff? Well, anyway, so we're in this process, and I'm just bringing you with me because for me to finish up the painting I started on trauma means that I'm having to dig deeper and keep on painting. Just keep swimming. This hat is here because of lake hair. Just keep swimming, just keep swimming, just keep painting, just keep practicing, just keep loving, just keep showing up, just keep risking, just keep singing, just keep speaking. This is several things. It's the life of faith, but it is also the life of neural retraining of the brain, especially if you're doing these things now out of the contagious hope of what you can't quite see but is already real to you because God has given you a promise in your soul. So we're in the process. Well, hello there. You just really want to get yourself locked, don't you? So anyway, we are in this together. We're in a summer of encouragement. We're in a summer of pressing through a lot of deep disequilibrium and a testing of who we are, right? And if I allow myself to, I can become extremely distracted with the degree to which people are allowing themselves to be controlled, manipulated, forced into submission, fearful. But there's always a remnant. We're part of that remnant. We're working through this trauma together, and as part of that, I'm doing this trauma-oriented painting in recovering from that, and bringing out the guitar and bringing out the music and going, no, I'm moving forward. Another layer of faith, another layer of healing, another layer of pushing back against the darkness, another layer of resistance, another day I don't wear a mask, another day I go into a place and say, no, I'm sorry, I got a condition that prevents me from wearing this, and it's none of your business what it is, by the way. Another layer of resisting the summer of his love. That's right, another layer of resisting the anxiety. Another layer of seeing prophetically. Another day of cooking that baby within us, right? Because the longer a baby stays in mama's womb, the healthier and stronger it is. And I remember when my midwife told me, I had actually water broken 10 days before the baby was delivered. And because I worked with a midwife, we were able to keep that baby in my tummy. And she said, every day baby stays in there and grows, it's better for the baby. So we're not going to rush you in and make this thing happen. That would be the normal course of medical things. If you want the water breaks, they want that baby right out of there. The midwives have a lot of neat things that they can do to reinforce a woman's ability to have natural birth and let that baby grow. So every day that this baby of the move of God, of the work of God is in us as the remnant womb, it's growing, and it matters. Every 24-hour period, every layer, every inch, every pound, every minuscule weight gain in that baby is important. And that's what's growing in us in this hour. And we're learning to see, and we're learning to shepherd through that and move past our trauma and into our childbirth. Move past what we've been through into what we're bringing forth and what God is determined to do. We get to authorize what happens on the planet. And we authorize it first and foremost by reinforce day in and day out. Authorize heaven to flow through us. So, the enemy is always doing predictive programming, isn't he? That's Jack. He swims with me across the lake. He's such a cool dog. The enemy is always doing predictive programming, beaming to us what they want to do. They programmed us for a pandemic. Isn't that interesting? What a creepy movie, what a thing, right? And this is how the enemy prophesies into the earth, his second heaven, his programming. And prophecies that come out of the third heaven, God's purposes, we get to authorize those by our agreement, our risk, our activation, and our prayer, our declarative prayer. So we authorize what's going to come into the earth. We do. And that's where we're moving into the constant daily authorization and reauthorization and enforcement of heaven's plans. The things we can pray into with assurance. We're not just making it up right now. We're not just making up, well, let's just pray a revival or a move of God because we're desperately needing one. No, God has told us this is his plan. This is his desire. God has told us that out of being very traumatized individuals, sometimes with our own pain, and nationally and internationally, his plan, that wasn't his plan. His plan is for this to be the year of the mouth, the year of the breath, the year of the proclamation, because that's prophetically spoken in. We get to pray and authorize those plans and back those plans and see that come to pass with confidence, because we know that's what he wants to do, and we're not just making it up. That's exciting. So every day we lay another layer of paint on the canvas. We bring out another gift. I got to make some phone calls for a few campaigns today. Every day I do my thing, and I show up, and I authorize, and I pray, and I love, and I share the gospel, and I go out of my way to resist the enemy's control and release the governance of heaven. It adds another layer to the enfleshment of God's plan. Okay? So, here's my painting. Okay? I've been working on Ugly Monkey Baby. Ugly Monkey Baby. I spent another, because I don't know how to paint that stuff. Okay. So I have to go back again and again. And here's the deal. When you repaint, you've got to use a really opaque color to cover up other stuff you didn't do, right? So you have to let that dry. And then I realized that this was a line in here that it's hard to see, but Ugly Monkey Baby is starting actually to have some proportions that are fairly, becoming more human. And Ugly Monkey Baby is somehow, by the grace of God, despite, the wind is kicking up, so I'm making a little space in here for us. Ugly Monkey Baby is going to, as I learn again and again and again, and I paint and repaint, and I show up over and over and over, is going to take his place and be prepared to symbolize what we're bringing forth and what we're working on. And sometimes, you guys, in this time that we're in, maybe the most profound thing. In fact, tonight at 8 o'clock Eastern Standard Time on Scope, I would like to invite you all in for another Q Hit Team Prayer. We have some more insight. We've got some more prophetic insight. We have some insight from this last week about what we say. We're going to put another layer on the prayer canvas. We're going to put another layer on the risk canvas, on the love canvas. And when you're in that last trimester, you know the baby can pretty much survive outside of the womb. But you don't want the baby out of the womb. You want every layer on there. You want all the weight you can get on that child. You want all of the pieces in until that baby's sometimes in the we could, prematurely deliver something. And sometimes we feel like we'd want to, right? But there's a lot that's being formed in us and being formed in our nation. There's a lot of awakening happening. So you can see I have to figure out feet and hands. And you can't really see it, but actually there's a face here that's starting to look fairly not monkey-ish. So that's good. I'm not like anti-monkey, but not in my womb, okay? And so we want to stay with it together, guys. We want to stay in the celebration of what's developing in us. We want to stay in the mercy. We want to stay in the plan. We want to stay authorizing heaven's plans with great confidence because we know what they are. We're not whistling in the wind. We have prophetic words that tell us what we get to back. And so, oh my goodness, you just really want to get blocked too. Wow, that's awesome. So anyway, I don't have any problems blocking y'alls. And so we're going to stay in this together. Something's developing in us. Something's growing in us. And it's a new generation of a move of God in the earth. Right? And so do I have big, prophetic words for you? No, just stick with it. Keep nourishing yourself with the things baby move of God needs. Stay in the canvas of your prayer, of your activity, of your simple basic things you need to do. One of the things I thought was really interesting is in the Johnny Enlow thing he did with Sid Roth this week was that he said that he saw 3 different scenarios that we had decisions to make. One was a Trump win by about 51%. One was a greater win of closer to maybe 57-60%. And then one was a 71% popular vote win. And depending on how much the church activated, one was if you just vote, one was if you pray and vote, one was if you pray and vote and activate and do your part and be active in your community. This is where we are going to do opening our home and having people over and sharing the gospel. This is where we are going to have our public prayer meetings and our worship gatherings. This is where we are going to blanket our towns with creative marks of the love of God. This is where we are going to reach into our schools. This is where we are going to be the turning point people who help people unmask and find themselves again and reject the enemy's narrative. And so depending on our level of activity, praying globally, acting locally, simple things, layer upon layer, we change our neural wiring, we come out of fight or flight, we come into strength, action, and we win a nation. We win ourselves back out of the fear and the trauma through the day-to-day rewiring and healing that has to happen when your brain is learning to be safe and learning to be confident and to be outrageously hopeful. We have to learn hope. Hope is learned. Confidence is learned. And we have to relearn it as a nation, don't we? So here I am, baby monkey's coming along. Somehow I'm going to figure it out. I'm not giving up and you're not giving up. You're making your phone calls. You're hitting the streets. You're having outreaches. You're loving others. You're resisting. You're speaking. You're sharing. You're praying. It's mattering. We want this baby coming to full term, don't we? The things that God is doing. So we're going to work it out together. In the meantime, I'll sing you out a little bit more. And tonight at 8 Eastern, if you would like to be on join us for prayer, That would be awesome. Yes, I'll take the chance and follow to the promised land and find you beyond every fear. La, 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 la. So I'll take the chance and follow to the promised land and find you beyond ever. La, 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 la. I'll find you beyond. Go do something that scares you. Put another layer of paint on the canvas. And I will see you guys tomorrow. But tonight, 8 Eastern time.